I've said this many times, but now I've forgotten what I was going to say. Like literally it just fell right out of my head. Okay, I got it. It's not about should you do a live stream, should you write a blog, or guess what? It's not even about should you create an entire program or offer or sell a thing, because that would be a good marketing move or a good audience growth move or some kind of good messaging move or whatever. It's actually not about that. And as soon as you make it about that, you cost yourself the game, man. At least for that day. Maybe not all in all. Because next minute, you're now having a conversation in your head as to whether or not you feel like doing the thing or writing the thing or even creating or launching or selling the thing. And the reality is that if you think you have to or need to or that your business requires it, of course you don't feel like it. Why would you want to do something under command in order to get an outcome? And also, it's unbiblical. So there. And whether or not you know that, you have a knowing inside of you that you actually shouldn't have to be jumping through hoops in order to create sustenance, provision, fuel, growth, or any of these things, because you have a deep knowing planted inside of you that it really is just meant to be shot for today's work today, pour forth the thing that's meant to come out. What am I talking about? I'm talking about you're kinking your own hose if you are a person who is meant to express things, write, speak, create, share a message in any way, shape or form. And the reason you don't do it is because you put it off, delay it, or even completely dismiss it because you're thinking to yourself, A, you don't know whether or not or where it fits into your marketing or messaging plan right now. B, you think you need to in some way prepare something, either your own person or, I don't know, something to do with the technology, or C, you think you need to figure out the way to present or share that message with the world correctly according to the current platforms or trends. Like maybe you have an idea, you have something that is really just coming out of you that you know, want to share. Like it's just a powerful thing, you know, that dropped into your own awareness, maybe in your journaling, maybe with a client, maybe as you're going about your day. And so you sort of bookmark it in your mind and you think to yourself something like, oh, well, I should create a properly edited reel about that maybe, or I should include that in a book that I'm never writing, but I'm always thinking that I should write a book, or I'll bookmark that for when I finally figure out how to do, I don't know, TikTok or start an email newsletter or whatever thing it is that you think you need to do. There's nothing wrong with taking some time to learn a new platform or actually embarking upon a bigger piece of creative work or project or something like that. But you know what? You're kinking your own chain, your own hose, chain, whatever it is, by not just saying or expressing the thing now, because it's actually a gateway and it's an activator and it's a release for you to just say the thing. So if you took it down off the shelf of, oh, I have this thing bubbling up inside me that I think or feel that maybe I should share with the world, but I don't know, and now let me overthink it to the high heavens and back again and then never end up doing anything, and now I'm just tired and I have to have a nap. If you took it down off that shelf and you just go, you know what, this come through me right now, I'm going to say it right now, me right now, for example, yes, that's my topic. We'll get to that. We're kind of on it already. I'm going to say it right now, and if the good Lord ordains that it is meant to turn itself into an entire book or program or properly edited something, then I'm going to spend some polished amount of time on at some later point. So be it. But more likely than not, the fact that you just showed up for today's message today and you didn't make it that it has to lead to a particular outcome or that it has to be prepared in order to generate said particular outcome, more than likely what that will do is result in that unblocked flow that you crave, want, and need for you to now be able to put your focus where your focus is meant to go, perhaps into those bigger pieces of work or a deeper visioning or a creation of something. Does that make sense? Because it's kind of equivalent to, let's say that you're a person who couldn't function properly if you've left clothes lying on the floor of your closet. Now, I really cannot get into the head of such a person because I don't know anything about it. I have no issues with clothes laying all over the floor of my closet. It's easier to pick them up and wear them again that way. My closet is quite ginormously large. It's probably like as big as this whole area down here. So you could sleep in there. So this doesn't help my situation because I just leave piles of stuff everywhere. But it doesn't bother me. It's vaguely an awareness that at some point I'll sort the place out again and, remove all the things that I'm going to give away and that sort of stuff. And maybe I'll even hang some stuff up. But I can totally go about my day with clothes on the floor of my closet. I've encountered people in my walks of life who can't function if every different thing in their bedroom or their home or whatever is not already tidily put away. Then they can get on with the day. I'm not talking about to a level of like obsessiveness. I'm just talking about people that enjoy putting things away. For those sort of people, it's time costly to not put the things away because it allows them a sense of like clarity or spaciousness to now feel that their focus can be placed elsewhere. Can I just tell you something more than likely true about who you are? Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're following me because of the new pathway that God has me on and you're not necessarily an entrepreneur, but probably not. Whoever you are, whatever your endeavors are, mostly 99.99% of people who are in my space online, you do have a message to share with the world. You have things that bubble up within you that God places upon your heart. Sometimes they're things that just popped into your mind, wherever they came from. You have things that want to be expressed and said, and for the very most part, those things should be expressed and said. There's a time and a place where it's maybe not so, but we actually have a pretty good discernment to know that. You not just sharing the message or making the move or saying yes to whatever the yes is for you today is like the person who can't function without putting their clothes away, not putting their clothes away. Just put the freaking clothes away. Just say the thing. And then you're going to have the spaciousness, the focus, and the sense of release to be able to go about your day and do whatever it is that is the next part of today's work today. But a really big part of this conversation is actually around the fact that nothing that we need to do as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as those who are deeply on a spiritual journey, as daughters of God, children of God, as whoever it is that we are, no singular move that we ever need to make throughout the course of our day when we consider do today's work today, no singular move that we ever need to make is really that difficult or dramatic at all. The idea of like the play-by-play of something that might have maybe a series of moves that you imagine would be required, that can seem quite big. But so much of the struggle that we engage in as humans is the back and forth of our own minds as to whether or not we should do a thing or what it's going to mean or what the pros and cons are or whether we feel like it or anything like that at all. And it would all just be made so simple if it was just, I'm going to have a personal policy of I'm going to say yes to what my true yes is. And that could be as simple as, there's something that I feel called to write, post or share in some way now. So I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to really concern myself with where is this leading and where is it going and what am I linking it to and does it really fit into my marketing plan right now and is this how social media is working right now and is anybody listening or watching and did I already say the same thing probably last week? Just say the thing. Because a lot of time you saying the thing unlocks something within you that allows you to then see, this is the next thing. It's kind of like, you don't get the, next clue on the treasure hunt until you follow the clue that's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? You can watch the replay, I'll see, if you've got to go. But a lot of times people are, for example, I've done this as well, asking God all the time, like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And I think a lot of the time God is like, well, if you would just do the last thing that I already told you, then I'm going to show you the next thing. But if you're going to repeatedly be looking for another answer and another answer and another move to make, and you didn't make the moves that were already shown and you haven't been obedient with the answers that you were given, what are you even doing? And it's exactly like that in business. Whether or not you're partnering with God in business, it is exactly like that. If you don't follow the clue or the breadcrumb in front of you, and then you want to know all the next ones, or you're weighing up, do I like this breadcrumb? Does it smell good? Is it the right shape? Is it the right form? Does it fit with the other breadcrumbs? Is this breadcrumb pathway leading me to exactly where all the coolpreneurs are going right now? We're done with that. Who opted out of that one? Me too. then meanwhile you're not even taking action. And in the end, when you look back, you're going to go, how was the thing built that was meant to be built through you, whatever it was? It's just a series of events or moments in time where you said yes to something that was a yes. That's not hard. Now, last week I said yes to quitting the pursuit of success, ambition, money, just pursuit of more in general, the next level always as a multi-whatever entrepreneur, opting out, hanging up that hat. That's a pretty big announcement. And instead to be solely feet planted, directed in what God is directing me on, whereas I was solely wanting to be led by God, and this year solely only launching, creating and bringing to life new things that God had led me on. But at the same time, I had a mindset of, oh, well, how does the business that I built over the past 20 years online, what do you want to do with that, God? And how are we kind of bringing that along? So it's a perspective shift more than anything. Yeah, I'm obviously still here on the internet. I have my membership, The Secret Garden, which is the place that God gave me for the faith-led entrepreneur. And it's just all in on all the things: purpose, identity, mission, calling, business, money, finances, love, life, all of it. So that's at thekatrinaruthshow.com/The Secret Garden. I did just halve the price because I just felt last week, you know what, I'm just return it to the original launch price. That's what God was just putting on my heart. So I still have that. You can work with me. You can coach with me there. It's an amazing price point. It is an incredible Holy Spirit-led place. And I'm still selling things on the internet. I have a couple of new things that God has shown me in this past few days that are very connected into the Secret Garden, but I sell them separately. And then if you're in the Secret Garden, you get them included. So I'm going to announce those new things. One of them is a guided workbook on reimagining business the God way. This is kind of like the all-in one-stop, like big, everything you need to know, like kind of think like multiple multi-$1,000 courses, but condensed into a piece-by-piece workbook that allows you to reimagine vision, drop into values, alignment, identity, all these things, and then the practicalities of bringing a God-led business to life. That came through on Friday. I was like, how have I never thought of doing a guided workbook that is just very systematically like, these are the things you need to drop in on, the mindsets, the practicalities, all of it. And God was like, that, because that was my thought, not yours. So that's going to come out. It's not available yet, but I'm going to pre-launch it soon. You'll be able to buy it at a discounted price pre-launch, and then you'll actually receive the sections, section by section, as I'm creating them, which I've already started. Or if you're in the Secret Garden, you don't pay for that. You don't pay for the smaller courses and extras and masterclasses and so on. And then on top of that, I'm going to do a money masterclass next week, Money But God's Way, which is actually all about exactly what I've gone through, like letting go of the pursuit or focus on money and putting it where it should be, and actually understanding how to go into that surrender, of course, why you would want to scripturally, but also how do you actually stop like focusing on money? Am I doing enough? Am I being enough? So I really felt I'm going to teach a masterclass on that next week, included obviously for my members, $99 if you're not a member. Again, not available yet to purchase, but if you know that you want to get your hands on either of those things, particularly at the pre-launch price for Business Reimagine, just send me a message, and once the links are available, I'll give them to you. So I'm clearly still selling, I'm clearly still creating, but at the same time, there's been this massive perspective shift that came almost out of nowhere last week, to where it was like, oh, I'm just going to exit stage left, like, see ya, I'm done, from looking through a lens of being a leader in the coaching industry, looking through a lens of being a multi-whatever leader, looking through a lens of my job is to help online coaches become online queens and make more money online and have that next level empire. No, I'm done with that. I'm done with the pursuit of ambition. I'm done with the pursuit of success. Obviously, success in God being a different thing, but, worldly success, ambition, any pursuit that is outside of God, which has been a big part of my business. And I thought, I'm going to kind of like take that with me in this new thing with God. And I thought that's what God was saying as well. Well, he didn't say one thing one way or the other. I just kind of assumed it. And so he showed me it's done. I immediately said yes to that, even though it means quite drastic changes actually in terms of team, in terms of all the things that I have built over the past 20 years, in terms of perception and how I'm seen online, in terms of platforms, my online home, many other practicalities as well that I won't go into. But I actually would say that if there's a big move for you to make in your life, it's just as easy to yes that yes. Oh, thank you, Elsie. That's so nice of you. She just popped the link in for the Secret Garden. For anyone watching on replay, the comments won't be there. It's thekatrinaruthshow.com/The Secret Garden. Go read about it. That's the membership. DM me any questions. When you're in the membership, you get all the extras included, but the membership is its own place where I teach live, and we have a beautiful live group and that sort of thing, and various other things as well. I would put it to you that it's just as simple to say yes to a so-called big yes, like an entire business transitional change or an entire life transitional change, as what it is to say yes to opening your mouth and sharing a message that you feel led to share today, which is what I'm doing right now. If you let all these different things be as simple as, well, I just said yes, and you get out of your mind, your natural mind idea that this is dramatic, or that it's a big deal, or that you don't know how, or that it means this, that, or the other thing, or that you first have to prepare and know all the clues or breadcrumbs or next steps in advance, if you just decide that that's not even a thing that is relevant to you because you're going to be led by the Spirit now and not by your own mind, do you understand how simpler your life will be? A lot of people will look at some of the big moves I've made, like, okay, I'm going to quit that business. Oh my gosh, there must be so much thought that goes into that, or what about this, or have you thought about that, or why didn't you just do this other thing over here? Like, wouldn't it have made more sense to just rebrand and not just like walk out on 100k followers on Facebook and whatever on my other Instagram with the blue tick and all? And it's like, it doesn't even matter. I don't even care. And this is not something that's like special about me. I have cultivated a habit or policy of this in my life for years now, so it's a practice, but you could choose this right now today. I just don't care what the details are. If God shows me something and I know it's a yes, I'm smart enough and I've lived long enough to understand that I might as well fast track to the good bit. Let's skip to the good bit, which is the bit where I stopped battling back and forth or trying to figure things out, and I just say yes now to the thing that I know is a yes, and the details can just catch up with themselves. And what is that? It's a position of trust, really. So you have to be able to trust God in order to behave that way. But trust in itself is also something that at some point you have to just decide to trust in the idea of, or the truth of, trusting in God and the plans that he's revealing to you and the things that he's placing within you that you just know are a yes. Whether it's as small as, am I going to make this live stream, write this post, send this email, or create a program or an offer, which is a little bit less small maybe, or whether it's as big as a whole entire business or life move, what if it was just as simple as, but I know that it's a yes, and at some point when I come out of trying to figure it out and battle it, I'm going to say yes then, so why don't I just save myself the trouble and say yes now, and just decide that whatever my mind might come up with that's going to be a problem, or that should have been done better or in a different way, I'm just going to decide that it's not going to be a problem. Do you know that trust is a decision and a choice? Absolutely, it's something that should be experienced in your spirit, and it's a knowing and it's a certainty, but we're human, let's be honest. If you trust God and you trust in his plans for you, is it that you 100% have that knowing and certainty in your spirit? And if yes, amazing. But if no, that's nothing to feel ashamed about, or like you're somehow not where you should be. It's just an observation that you can pray on, seek God on, like, okay, God, you know that my heart and my desire is to be in that greater faith and trust, and that's what I want. And right now I feel not sure of this and that, so would you help me? But I am also going to decide to hand it over and decide to operate from trust. I'm going to use my mind to decide to operate from trust in my spirit, rather than let my mind, which is meant to be, a lower ranking servant in the sequence, with your spirit, higher ranking than your mind, rather than using your mind to run the whole thing and not say yes to something that's a yes, because your mind is like, I don't know, one of those people that just wants to know every different possible detail about everything before making a move. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not your time to talk right now. Actually, we're going to make this decision over here. Hold your questions. I'm saying yes to this. And then you walk forward. Because guess what happens when you walk forward and you just have a practice of yesing your yes? You just see more, you know more, you sense more. By definition, you're drawing closer to God, because you separate yourself from God when you're in your own mind and your own thinking and your own trying to figure it out. you just let it be easy the way it's meant to be. It's incredibly relaxing. If you start thinking too much again, then it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But the thing is, the more you just see that for what it is just the chitter chatter of the mind, and you drop back into that knowing which exists in your spirit and in your quiet time with God, and in that place where you have tuned out all the noise of yourself and or anyone else or the internet, it just gets very, very easy. Yeah, you save yourself so much time and effort. I want you to think about, and I'm going to finish now because I've got to go, how much time and effort will you spend this year trying to figure stuff out if you don't make a decision now that you're just going to be a person from here on out who yes is a yes? And understand that sometimes you look back and you'll be like, gee, I thought that was a yes and apparently not. And that's okay, because when you're led by God, he's going to reroute you anyway, Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Not always easy, but it is simple. So that's my message for today. There's a fly in my face. Yes, yes. Leave me a comment. Let me know if this spoke to you. The secret garden, that is the place to be. That is the space that God gave me for the faith-led entrepreneur who simply wants to know and also walk forward in all that is for her in God. Purpose, identity, mission, go away, fly, business, whatever that will look like now, money, wealth in general, love, life, all of it. It is an incredible space filled with incredible faith-led women. We are growing and flowing together. God is just doing amazing things in there. If you're just ready for a different way as an entrepreneur, as a leader, but also as a woman, as a human who just wants to have her sights set on things above, not on the earthly and worldly things, and who understands that heaven on earth is a reality that should be occurring, and it's not going to happen by trying to figure stuff out in your mind. That and many other reasons is why the secret garden might be for you. So you can go to thekatrinaruthshow.com/the secret garden. It is its own space, but also all of the smaller classes, courses, things that I sell separately, like the ones I mentioned before, you don't pay for those when you're in the secret garden. So it really is phenomenal value, because if you would pay for all the extra smaller things I would do, you'll end up paying a lot more across the course of the year than what you would do just to be in the membership and receive it all included. So send me a message if you have any questions. But most importantly, yes to yes. Have an amazing, beautiful rest of the day, and do not forget, life is now.